Christopher Marchant had been a paramedic for about 5 years in December 2017 and says Yosif Al-Hasnawi was his first encounter with a gunshot wound. He says they arrived at the scene believing this to be a pellet gun, not a handgun incident, and others, including a firefighter, affirmed their assumption when they got there. He says there was no blood and only a small wound that wasn't swollen and didn't react to his prodding. I've seen bigger pellet gun injuries, but this appeared like any other pellet gun injury. It just looked like the skin was broken, Marchant told the court. He says Al-Hasnawi wouldn't answer his questions but spoke to his father in Arabic, and the father wouldn't translate. He and a police officer tried to pull him to his feet but failed. It took several attempts to get Al-Hasnawi over to the ambulance and onto the stretcher, and once inside, they tied him down to keep him from removing medical equipment. On the way, Marchant radioed the hospital.
Extremely altered. Friends and family deny any drugs or alcohol, although he's acting extremely confused.
But by the time they arrived at St. Joe's, Al-Hasnawi had lost consciousness. Marchant, seen here inside the ambulance, and his partner, Steve Snively, rushed him inside and helped administer CPR. It was in the resuscitation room that Marchant says he understood the gravity of Al-Hasnawi's wound, which had begun spurting blood. When Al-Hasnawi died on the table, Marchant says he was shocked, saddened, and confused. He was standing at a counter completing paperwork when Al-Hasnawi's father approached him. He was more or less just yelling at me, telling me I killed his son, over and over again, Marchant told the court. Tomorrow, Marchant will face questions from prosecutors. Yesterday in court, a prior complaint against his conduct as a paramedic was introduced, but this morning the judge ruled it too dissimilar and not relevant to this case. Lisa Hepfner, CHCH News.